Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Gabrielle Celeste. Welcome. We have a blue background. We have our headphones in because I'm doing a series of recordings today and I just did not feel like taking it off and changing the settings up. So just going to look a little different for this one, but it's all good. We are talking about how one reader, psychic, intuitive, whatever you want to label us as, receives messages and what that can look like, whether they're messages for yourself or for other people, and what that looks like in terms of receiving them. So a little bit of background on me. I'm Gabrielle Celeste. I am the owner of AGUA Astrology. I am an intuitive astrologist. I have also dabbled in the modalities of mediumship, human design, shamanism, all the things. So not just in one box, if you will. I also co-host the Spiritual Sisters podcast, so be sure to check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. We drop episodes every week, and we've been on a roll for almost 3 years now. So that's crazy to even process and say out loud. But yeah, I am just sharing a couple of ideas and thoughts, and my YouTube channel is really just like a diary for things that I've learned as a practitioner, and I wanted a place to reflect back on what I have learned over the years and just have that recording that could also serve a dual purpose and not only being something I could reflect on, but also support others in their spiritual growth and their journeys as well. So the way that this thought came to me the other day was I'm currently reading the book, The Power of Now, which I think might be one of my top 3 spiritual texts that I've read. So that's definitely one. The other one's probably The Surrender Experiment, for sure. And then I'm kind of working my way and seeing what the third book could possibly be, but we'll get there. And yeah, I'm also thinking about starting a book club on the podcast. So we will see about that. But yeah, I really wanted to speak to just kind of the awareness that I came to identify in terms of where I'm receiving messages and how I'm receiving them and what source I am receiving these messages from. And in the book, The Power of Now, it speaks to just the energy of being aware of your emotions and stepping outside of it and processing how it is or why it is that you're feeling said emotion so that you can really work through it in present time and not past trip or future trip. And it sparked this thought in me that I was like, oh, okay, this is a creative download in the sense of I should speak to what this could possibly how this could be helpful for someone who does this work or is interested in identifying, where they're getting their messages from, whether it's for themselves or for someone else. And so I thought it would be really supportive to share how I receive messages for other people, for myself, and where they're coming from. So that's going to be the context of this video. So I am primarily clairsentient. I have other clairs that are open, and that includes clairvoyance. And my clairvoyance is probably my more dominant clair over the years, even though my first one that came in was clairsentience. So it's the feeling, just walking into a room and being able to sense the temperature of the room, or if someone had just gone into a fight and just having the feeling of that energy, so to speak. Even if you weren't there, you can kind of just sense it. And then over the course of time, just doing so many readings and just really spending so much time in meditation, I eventually recognized that my clairvoyance, my third eye, was quite open, and I've worked with that to really expand that over the years. So I'm going to be sharing from a clairvoyant perspective how I receive messages and the sources from which I am receiving said messages from for myself and for others. And one thing about this work that I think is really interesting, so I have so much water in my birth chart, so I'm more of the feeler. That's probably why my clairsentience came in first. But with earth signs is something that I've noticed that I just feel called to also share, is that earth signs do a very, honestly impressive job of providing verbiage and words and just in general, being able to describe concepts that are not tangible to the 2D, both eyes, but are very open to the third eye, if you will. And I am going to do my best to express and describe how I'm receiving the messages and putting that into thought form and into words so that you can identify for yourself or get an idea of how that might be showing up for you. So I, at this time of recording, have done over 600 readings. That's insane. For the first year, I read for free, and that's just, it's like I'm processing in real time, like just the reality of that. And I have come to observe just that intention is a big thing. So setting the intention of messages and who you are receiving or reading messages for, I think is very important. And what I've found is when I'm in readings, when I am in a meditative state, the information in from my third eye, when it's for someone else, is almost outside of me. And say I'm reading for someone named Tim, and Tim is curious about just what the next couple of months look like for him, or what that could be like for him in terms of like career or love or money or whatever. It's almost like that information that is for Tim is outside of my peripheral view. It's in front of my peripheral view, if you will. And I know that that information is for Tim and Tim alone, and it's not for me. And it's either Tim's soul or Tim's guides that are presenting that information for me to then translate to and for Tim. When I am in a state of just being and just living my life and being present in my life on a day-to-day basis, the thoughts that feel intuitive, so there's a blending of the clairvoyance and the clairsentience there, I feel that in my crown chakra, but sometimes I'll get images if it's there to like be relayed, and if it's to be confirmed. The images come in as confirmations, if you will. However, with the messages, the downloads, the intuition, the intuitive hits that I get on a daily basis, those messages are coming directly from my higher self, and it's almost just flowing through me in my upper four chakras, but more predominantly my claircognizance, so my crown chakra. So the information that I receive for myself, mostly, it can be for other people for sure, if I get hijacked, as I like to say. But usually the information that I'm receiving throughout the entire day is coming from my higher self, and it's dropping in through my claircognizance. And then in addition to that, there are other sources that you can receive information from outside of it being for another person, outside of it being your higher self that's providing these messages, is from either your guides and source, God, oneness, whatever it is that you label that higher form of consciousness to be. And when I am receiving messages from either my guides or the oneness, I get full body, almost like electric shock, and that is coming from my crown. Literally, it's like almost like I feel it within my body all the way down, literally like it's almost like you're getting electrocuted. That's the best way I can describe it. But it's feeling within from my crown, my third eye, my throat, and my heart. And it's just a full body knowing, full body sensation, full imagery that's presented if necessary. And that's how I know that it's coming from one of those two sources. Usually it's my guides. I don't think I've had like a direct hit with the oneness, because I feel like if I were to receive that information, it would be almost paramount and very cataclysmic, if you will. But I know when it's coming from a higher power outside of myself and my higher self, and if it's not for someone else, it's going to be either my guides and the oneness, and it's going to be directly within those top four chakras. So I feel like that was really important to just share, and to almost kind of like have like a category system to create for yourself, and assigning it just so you can better identify how your intuition's working and going from there. So yeah, that is what we're going to be speaking about today. I hope that this was supportive and helpful. Be sure to check out my links below, the podcast, book a reading with me if you feel called, and all the things as we like to say on the show. So take care, and I'll see you on the next one.